From the Kent State Ice Arena in Kent, Ohio. Couldn't be happier to be back here. Kent State hockey, Gabe Kalura, Chris Hodson, and Chris, John Carroll's in town. It's always a good one, but there's a little bit of added personal spice to this one. Henry Scheck in the lineup for John Carroll tonight, transferred over the break. So what does that put in the minds of these Kent State players?
Well, revenge. I mean, it's as simple as that. I mean, he's been pretty much the talk of the town here pregame. I think I've heard his name about 30 or 40 times, just from you alone, Gabe.
Absolutely. It's tough not to think about, right?
I mean, absolutely. That's going to be the number one thing on their minds as they get started here.
First goalie out's Nick Beck. He'll get the start. As for John Carroll, that's going to be Alex Smatt. Learn a little bit about him. From Chicago, Illinois, senior, 5'8", 889 save percentage, 3.39 goals against. Not going with Martin Moyne today, who has a 918, 2.8 from Paris, France. How about that? That's fun. As for the Flashes, Jake Friedman, Tommy Kilway, Jack Kinsman, Zach Barnes, Brian Ostershell will get the start there. For the Blue Streaks, Tyler Putnam, Max Richter, Ethan Miller, Carlo Bertoni, and Adam Unruh. Packed house here tonight. You remember the last time we saw the Blue Streaks here at the Kent State Ice Arena? It was a thriller. 2-1 win in regulation. Nick Beck making a sliding, beautiful stop at the end of the game. We'll meet the starting lineups for the Golden Flashes. We'll go down to ice level for the national anthem. We're all set. Flashes and Blue Streaks, it's always a good one. Expect that again tonight. The chirping continues from the Kent State student section of Henry Scheck. To be expected.
No surprise.
You know how feisty those guys can get down there behind the visiting bench.
Well, they were very interested to know if he was going to be playing tonight, so we had to go down there and confirm that for him, and I think that riled him up a little bit.
Did confirm that, and that's a good leeway into the coaching staff for John Carroll. Scott Shantery, their head coach, assisted by Andrew Wisniewski. Of course, Nowak for the Flashes, Hernandez, and Nitre. Sticks are banging on the boards. That means it's time for hockey. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this one from the Kent State Ice Arena. We are underway. This puck picked up by Tyler Putnam. He's able to send it across near side. This is Fogarty. Try to move it ahead. The puck gets by Putnam. He's chased after there by Friedman. Puck squirts out towards center ice. Dropping back is Zach Barnes to make the play. Bertoni couldn't hold it at the line. A shot that went just fluttering past Ethan Miller and drifts back now for Zach Barnes. Barnes protecting the puck. Tries to hand it off for Friedman. It's intercepted though by Putnam. We get our first stoppage here. 19:28 to go.
Yeah, kind of a shaky start. I think maybe a little bit of jitters there, a couple missed passes, and almost a really solid opportunity in front for John Carroll, just in front of him.
Luke McNamara will come out and take this face-off with Joey Gallo, pair of 22s. This is Clayton Gazdak trying to dump it in. Gazdak from Mentor, Ohio, graduated from St. Ignatius High School in Lakewood. Shuckling off that stoppage of play that we've got, and we'll move in front of the John Carroll bench now. McNamara and Gallo again. Face-off one and controlled there by Racker. Trying to move it along. It's Poswick stepping up, slamming one into the zone. Gazdak. Over for Tristan Wigan, and now ahead comes John Carroll. Getting a shoulder shoved into him there with Sean Deacon. Back out of his net to play this one. McNamara tried to shovel one toward the net quickly. He couldn't quite get it though. Racker helped out by McNamara. Back around it comes for Poswick. Ahead to Zach Zarecki, the captain. Sends one forward. Long strides there from Johnny Gabriel. He's the first one there. Has a man driving toward the front of the net, and Gallo tried to get it there, and it never harmed Smat. Here's a puck handed off to Kyle Holmes. Sends it around behind. Wigan let it go through. Here comes Jonathan Gabriel on the pinch, near side. Gallo on the control, tried to get it toward the net. Intercepted by Wigan, and now Gazdak can move the other way, and John Carroll clears the zone. Dropping back is Jacob Herbert. Herbert turns one over at center ice. Here comes Adam Unruh. Picking his pocket, there is Nick Creston. Holmes trying to move it along. It's scooped up here by Gillespie. Hands it off for Zarecki. Tried to sachet by a man, and it's cut off by Unruh. Takes a shove there from Herbert. Dropping back to help out his Holmes. Curls behind his own net, takes a peek, and he'll dust it off a little bit. Henry Scheck's first shift as a John Carroll blue streak here in the arena in which he once called home. Knocked down by Young at center ice. Waving at it was Unruh, and it's knocked in there by Firth Gruszinski. Puck fought for here near center ice, and Nick Creston can race ahead with it. Creston on the far side, sends it in behind. Rankin going to work. There's a hit delivered there on Aiden Conway, the defenseman for John Carroll, and doing some work behind the net now. Gillespie races to the bench for a change. He's replaced by J.S. Floric here. Scheck sends this one out towards center ice over the waving stick of Brian Ostershell. Beck tried the quick up, trying to catch him lacking there, but it's intercepted by Peyton Fogarty, and we reset. Bertoni knocked down by Commendator. Wenger gets lit up, and a penalty is going to come from this. Flashes will be on the power play. Bennett Wenger took a hit at center. Looks to be hunched over there. That was a big hit, and the penalty is going to be on Peyton Fogarty, a top pair defenseman for the Blue Streaks, so the first power play for Kent State.
Yeah, interesting to see. According to the ACHA stats, this is a team that doesn't really give up a lot of penalties in terms of, power plays against, but they're also listed as having 333 penalty minutes. So I'm not sure which one to believe there.
That's interesting. Maybe a lot of fights. I don't know. That puck did come out of the zone. Ostershell trying to race after it. They get Peyton Fogarty for interference. Tristan Wigan is going to send this one down as far as Ostershell, who soccered it along. Dropping back is Gabriel. 3 minutes have come and gone from the Kent State Ice Arena. Gabe Kalura, Chris Hodson. Gabriel takes a look, hands it off to Kinsman. Kinsman trying to pick his way through some traffic, had it knocked away. Flashes can't get a clean zone entry, and Kilway drops back with it. Ryan Ostershell handles for the Flashes. Hands it off to Kinsman. The Orchard Park native steps by Adam Unruh and moves in clean. Kinsman rips one, and it went over the glove of Smat. And back to center ice it comes. Ryan Ostershell along for Gabriel. Jonathan Gabriel chipping by, using that speed. Here comes Gabriel down the left wing, protecting the puck. Power move toward the goal. Smat knocked it away. Gallo couldn't quite hold the zone. and all the way back down it comes. Zach Barnes holding. Just under a minute left on this power play. No score yet from the Kent State Ice Arena. Here is Zach Zarecki. Firth Grushishinsky taking some shots at him. Stepping in is Zarecki. Drops it off at the line to Friedman. Friedman dragging it in. Took a hit. Drive by Barnes is blocked by Unruh. Couldn't quite move it out of the zone, though, and back deeper it comes for Zarecki. He's pressured there by Conway. Pass in front looking for Rankin. Couldn't find him. Barnes sends one toward the goal. Hit the outside of the net. Rankin goes back to the point. 25 seconds to go on the power play. Friedman over to Barnes. Holding. Sauces one along. Here's a chance for Friedman. Fires, and a glove save made. Puck is still loose. Whacking at it is Gallo, and just missing the net there was Friedman on the far side. Back to the point it comes to Barnes. Power play looking good here. Friedman snaps one. Save made by Smatty. Took a peek behind him, and man, knocked down in front. Our first disagreement of the evening. When these two teams get together, you can always expect some extracurriculars after the whistle.
Yeah, you don't have to look very far for volatility than just the goaltender's crease. That's always going to draw a little attention.
We know what you say about the goaltender habitat, right, Chris?
Absolutely. You gotta. You can't be afraid if you're going to go into the goaltender habitat, because you're gonna find somebody.
7 seconds to go on this power play in this sellout crowd here at the Kent State Ice Arena. Savade Thompson able to kick one back. Poswick got it deep. Penalty's going to be killed off here by John Carroll. Fogarty's free from the box. Knocked down at center ice by Thompson, and now scooped up by Pramano. Lets one go, swallowed by Nick Beck. His first save. He gets a look at the rubber for the first time with 15:08 to go.
Well, Flash's first power play looks strong. They did pretty much everything you can, hope that your power play can do, except put one in the net. If the stats are to be believed, this is a John Carroll penalty kill that has quite struggled a lot this season at a 54%.
Not a number that you want to see if you're Scott Shantery. That penalty kill's got to be a lot better. In behind the net, this is controlled by Samuel Herr. He gets pressured, and in behind the net it comes for Kyle Vent. Using the backhand to sweep one out toward the point. Here's a shot that flutters through the crease of Beck, and it's going to be picked up by Gabriel. Uses the backhand to sweep it along to Zarecki. What a move by Zach Zarecki. He couldn't quite pick the puck up, but I'll tell you what, Chris, a lot of these guys are feeling themselves right now, especially after a good weekend in Rochester. Picked up a pair of wins, and big ones at that. Joey Gallo picked up 7 points over the weekend as they battle for the puck in front of the John Carroll bench, much to the delight of this crowd. Back deep the puck comes, and now we're really going after it. It's Herr and Gallo. Referee blows the whistle, and tension continues to boil over.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd be surprised they didn't take Herr there. He took a little extra swing at Gallo, and I think that's going to buy him a little time.
They're going to take them both here, it looks like. Gallo and Herr will go to the box. So coincidental minors might have us playing 4-on-4. See what happens here. Gazdak and Kilway over to get the scoop from the officials.
Looks like the faceoff is going to go inside John Carroll's zone, though, and I think that's what Gazdak's arguing.
Two penalties up on the box. We will play 4-on-4. So penalties to Joey Gallo for Kent State and Samuel Herr for the Blue Streaks. A lot of room out there. You got your speedy guys out there, Kilway and Kinsman, but it's Tristan Wigan that scoops it up, tries to move it along for Gazdak. Bit too far in front of him, so Holmes can drop back. Max Richter was in there on the forecheck. Top 5 scorer for the Blue Streaks, 17 points this year. Kilway was in a bit prematurely offside. Kinsman pressuring Wigan, and finally they're going to blow it dead, and they're going to call intentional offside, it looks like. So this faceoff might come down all the way into the Kent State end.
Yeah, and that might satiate some of the anger that was had on the John Carroll bench at that last call. They were not happy that the faceoff was moved into their zone, and probably rightfully so, especially if they're taking both guys. You'd think the faceoff would have come back to neutral.
Gabriel and Sean Deacon will take this draw. Deacon, 9 goals, 10 assists, 19 points this year. Another one of those top 5 guys out there for John Carroll as Gazdak flutters one into the catching glove of Nick Beck. No further play. 13:52 to go in period number 1. We've got 92 more seconds of 4-on-4 time here. Chris Racker will take the face-off here with Gabriel. Gazdak holds it at the right point, hands it along. Deacon back to Gazdak. Beck saw it all the way, caught it again, melts it down.
Well, one of the places that the Flashes seem to have struggled a little bit, especially on home ice, is face-offs inside their own zone. I feel like we've seen a lot of those go the way of the visiting teams here.
As there's another one that goes the other way. Wraparound attempt, Deacon, oh my goodness! Nicholas Beck, that's pure larceny. And he showed it to him too.
That's vintage Nick Beck right there. You think back to some of the games last season, especially the two hard-fought games that saw some extra time, and we saw a lot of that from Nick Beck last time. We feel like he's almost got a bone to pick with the blue streak.
Bit of a chip on his shoulder, right? He gets physical in these games too. It's not just the skaters. Sean Deacon had a grade A scoring chance, high danger scoring chance, I think they like to call him. Here's Gazdak moving in. Took a shot, and it hits the shin pad of Jake Friedman and tips up and out of play.
Well, you talk a little bit about the physicality of Nick Beck. You know, in tonight's game, he is the only goaltender here with penalty minutes. And, in fact, he's got 4 of those so far this year.
4 PIMs for your starting netminder from Youngstown, Ohio. And another one that comes toward Beck that he'll use to freeze down with the glove. Well, one of the biggest supporters of Nick Beck is his father, Don Beck. We've mentioned a couple times on this broadcast. You could hear him from, I think you could probably hear him from University Heights when he made that save.
Probably, and at any game. He's always there.
Absolutely. This is Kyle Vent. Flash is finally trying to get out of their own zone, and they do. It's a saucer pass ahead from Poswick to Gillespie, and he's able to step by Conway. Thrown in front. Friedman just missed the net wide. Good opportunity for Jake Friedman, created by Mitch and Mitch. To the bench comes Friedman, replaced by Kilway. Poswick sweeping check. Here's a curl and drag shot there, taken by Richter, and now racing the other way are the Flashes. It's Kyle Vent, 3-on-2, onside play. Vent lets it go. It was blocked. He'll take his man all the way into the corner boards. Pushing and shoving between Kyle Vent and Aiden Conway there. This puck picked up by John Carroll, trying to move it through center. Scooped up by Richter. Took a shove there from Kilway, but Richter controls down the right wing. Steps through, Richter with a shot, left pad save made by Beck. Trying to finish off the rebound was Miller, he goes down. Here's Kilway, racing ahead, one-on-one against Carlo Bertoni. Sidesteps a check from Herr, who's fresh from the box. Here's Herberg, and that's offside at the line.
Well, Blue Streaks are being extremely aggressive at the blue line. Seems like doesn't matter if it's a defenseman, a forward, who's there. If they're in the general vicinity of the puck, they're going for the body.
Always a physical game between these in-state rivals. There's a face-off won rather cleanly there by Adam Unruh. And now racing back is Fogarty. Fogarty blind pass to nobody. He's going to end up being a turnover. Gallo sends one toward the net. Here's Gabriel, steps by. Zarecki steps in front. Tried to feed a pass across the crease. Was looking for Gallo. Herberg steps up on his man. Ties him up just enough. That man was Henry Scheck. And back this one comes. Peyton Fogarty dusts it off in behind. Just under 12 minutes to go in the first period. No score from the Kent State Ice Arena. Gets away from Firth Grushishinsky. Goes all the way down for an icing. And the faceoff will come back down by Alex Smatt.
Well, Scheck has... he's a couple shifts in now. He hasn't been as noticeable as you'd expect. I don't think anyone's really gone after him or anything. I've been keeping an eye on him, and so far, I think they've left him alone a little bit, but he hasn't been around the puck too much.
Gallo will take this draw with Unruh to the left of Smatt. Off the tie-up, sweeping in his Scheck, and he's knocked down there by Zarecki. Gabriel in the near corner. It's picked up by Fogarty. Fogarty's able to speed by, and a 3-on-2 if they hurry here. Barnes tried to step in front of his man, Firth Grushishinsky. That pass just went right through the wickets. Here's Brian Ostershell racing ahead. Former Columbus Maverick in juniors. Ostershell collides there with Fogarty. Pass ahead to Check. Check for Firth Grushishinsky. Taken away from him, and now back. Fogarty for Wigan. Puck just escaped him a little bit. Gabriel was in the area. Under 11 minutes to go now in the first period. Check. He's hearing it from the crowd now. Whenever he touches the puck, he's getting the boos.
Yeah, they haven't had a ton of opportunities so far, but every time he comes back to the bench or he's around the puck, the fans are letting him have a little bit of something.
It's not quite as hostile as the island was when John Tavares returned for the first time, but something like that.
If you believe hard enough, it could be close.
We'll go
size
with
and
it.
scale, you know.
We'll go with it. David Rankin able to chip this one out of the zone. Baxton gets by Gazdak, and a chance here for Baxton with a backhand shot. One taken away, and now Creston to the point vent. Sends one in the direction of the net that goes wide on the glove side. Poswick racing over to keep it in, and he finds a nice reverse hit on Deacon, and now racing ahead. It's an odd man rush. There's a quick shot, and a kick save made by Beck. The shot that came from Chris Racker. Racker pinned to the wall there by Nick Creston, taking care of his man. Baxton up ahead for Rankin. It does get out of the zone. David Rankin, 4 goals on the season. A hat trick at Syracuse, a game winner against Robert Morris. He scores in the big moments, you can say that. Racker. Herberg tied him up at the line. Here's Deacon. Holmes gives a shoulder to him. Primano was in the area as well, but David Rankin scoops it up. Skate to sticks of A. Thompson. Trying to maneuver his way around Young. Takes him all the way to the near corner. Under 10 to play in the first period. Kyle Holmes sends this one deep. Alex Smack leaves it behind for Wigan. Still a bit of a feeling out process going on here. There's been some good chances at both ends, especially on the power play if we're talking about the Flashes. Beck way out of his net to play that. So far out of his net that it would have been illegal in the NHL, but it'll go here in college. Racing ahead is Holmes. Ahead to Bennett Wenger. Wenger drops it back to Floric, who puts a shot on net, swept aside by Smat. Wenger trying to break it up. In there as well as J.S. Floric. Back to the center red line it comes, where Barnes can drive one on goal. It's swept aside. This one picked up by Commendator. And ahead it comes for Primano. Primano cuts around, lets a shot go. Skate right, shoot left, and it goes over the blocker of Nick Beck. Kilway trying to move one along. It finds Zach Barnes. Gains center red, dumps it in. Kinsman is going to race in after it. He'll be the first one there. Backhander toward the net. Matt swept it away. Picked up here by Kilway. Kinsman touches it along for Friedman. Friedman holding on the far side. Kinsman picks it up. Stops, tries to go the other way. He's shut off there by Bertoni. That puck cleared up and into the John Carroll bench. And a nice catch made there by Ryan Young.
Well, I think it bears repeating here with all the talk about, Sheck coming back here tonight, is that it's not just a personal game for these two teams, but this is becoming quite a bit of a, in-state rivalry between these two teams. Not only the divisional teams, but every game they've played, it seems it turns the heat up just a little bit more. Absolutely.
Here is Jonathan Gabriel. Gives it along behind for the captain, Zach Zarecki. Tried to sweep one toward the net. Gallo gets hauled down. No call there. Zarecki's able to move it along to Gabriel. Looking for space. It's cut off, though, by Richter. He'll send it ahead. Fogarty whacks it along. Was looking for Putnam. And now it's stuffed in deep by Fogarty. Beck will play it along for Poswick. Mitch Poswick looking to exit the zone. Zach Zarecki sends one skyward. It's going to be picked up here by Joey Gallo. Gallo pressured there by Fogarty. Took a big hit from behind, and a penalty will come from this.
Well, that's about as illegal as it gets. Right in the numbers with the elbow straight into the boards.
Yeah, you see the numbers. You can't make that hit.
No, in fact, I think I mentioned it before. The younger kids on their jerseys have a big stop sign on the back, where if you can see the stop sign, you stop the hit. That's what they teach them young.
Trying to get these hits out of the game. Gallo stretching himself out a little bit, so Fogarty takes his second penalty. Art had come out onto the ice to try and help Joey Gallo out, but it looks like he's going to be okay. Gives a little head nod to Samuel Herr on the bench, who we had a little bit of a disagreement with earlier on in the game. See how much penalty time is going to be assessed here. Looks like it's just going to be 2 minutes for boarding.
Yeah, if it were going to be any more, I think they would have just taken him straight to the gate.
Yep. Peyton Fogarty takes the penalty. Another power play for the Flashes. It looked good the first time. Took a little bit of time to get it going. And another face-off that they lose that sours the start of it.
It's hard to score if you don't have the puck. Bet you didn't know that, Gabe.
That's a very good point there, Chris. I think that's what I missed the most. Jonathan Gabriel. Stuff one along. Here is Kinsman. Slaps one into the zone. Gazdak drops back. Pressured by Gabriel and Gillespie alike, but it's picked up and cleared by Deacon. Just looking to get anything set up here. Good pass by Beck along for Kinsman. Jack Kinsman, so crafty. Here he comes. Kinsman protecting on the backhand, stops and starts. Back for Friedman, has a look. Gives it along for Ostershell. Sends one toward the net that just fluttered through the crease. Friedman's gonna come along to save it. Friedman has a go, blocked by Unruh, and then Friedman stepped into Firth Rushishinsky, and now it's a 2-on-1 the other way. Ryan Young in. Young waits, shoots, and a save by Beck. Another odd man rush given up on the man advantage.
Yeah, Blue Streaks have 2 shorthanded goals this season. Had a chance for another one right there, a good chance at that. And up until that point, it was almost a mirror image of the first power play. Flashes were pretty weak for the first minute, then coming into the segment, they started to turn the heat up, but John Carroll gets the best of that opportunity.
Little bit over-aggressive there. Here's another clean face-off win in the defensive zone. Wigan with a slap shot that's kicked aside by Beck, and the Flashes will get a chance to set something up here. Zach Barnes will quarterback this wave. Friedman chips it along for Gallo. Good to see him right back out there taking another shift. Ethan Miller takes it away. Miller racing ahead, fires one wide. Here is Zarecki. Barnes. Along to Zarecki, 25 seconds to go on the power play, and 6 minutes to go in the first period. Still no score in this in-state rivalry, John Carroll and Kent State. Gazdak pressuring Gallo all the way to the far side. This one picked up by Firth Brzezinski. And he's hip checked there by Zach Barnes, old school from number 20 for the Flashes. Here is David Rankin racing ahead. Rankin fakes, goes outside on Carlo Bertoni, but he's able to push him all the way to the boards on the near side. Now a battle for the puck. In to help out is Promano. It's eventually picked free by Friedman. Back to the point. Here's Gallo. Walks in and fires, and a blocker save made by Smat. Herberg was able to hold the line, and it's eventually kicked free by Peyton Fogarty. Up ahead to Bertoni. 2 defensemen in on this rush. Here's a quick shot and a quick save by Nick Beck. Well, seeing it well in this first period. Go ahead, Chris.
The Flashes are now 2-0 on the power play here in this game, and they're 7 for 70 on the season, which is exactly 10%. And I got to think a big reason to that is, we joke about, you got to have the puck to score, but the face-offs have been such a massive issue here, especially tonight. I don't think they've won a single one yet that I can recall.
Especially not on the man advantage. I mean, this and the face-offs in their own zone, I think, also have been a really big issue.
I don't think it matters where it is. They're not winning those battles at the dots.
Possession does matter, absolutely. They're going to call this icing. Creston waved at it, never got a piece of it. So 4:53 to go in the first period.
Well, Flashes only accumulated maybe 30, 40 seconds of zone time on that power play. And, I mean, they spent most of that time just chasing the puck down and trying to get it back and try to get back into the zone. And if they win the initial face-off and you have possession, then you don't spend the next 40 seconds trying to get the puck back. And, this John Carroll team, very aggressive, very strong on offense. And you don't want to give them, some kind of chance to get going.
There's another clean face-off win. Fogarty sends one through traffic. It never got to Beck. Racker will drop it down low for Deacon. Back up top, Fogarty has a look, has a shot that flutters wide. It's picked up here by Kyle Baxton. Baxton races ahead, trying to step around Bertoni. Onside play at the line. Racing in was Deacon to help out, and back the puck comes for Herbert. Fresh haircut for Jake Herbert. Doesn't have that lettuce flowing out of the helmet anymore. J.S. Floric racing in. Floric was stood up there. Oh, and Deacon is drilled by Nick Creston. Creston's a big hitter. It's a part of his game that's quite underrated. Here's a shot that goes over the net. McNamara battling for it at the line and picked up by Nick Creston. They race in. 3-on-3. Creston just snaps it in. He needs a change after delivering that huge check. Young sends it along, looking for Commendator, and it will be an icing.
Well, I kind of hinted at the strength of the offense for the Blue Streaks. They come into tonight with a positive goal differential of +6. They've got 95 goals for now. Granted, they've played more games than the Flashes have, but the Flashes have only scored 57 goals this season. They're kind of sneaking up on almost double what the Flashes have.
89 goals against, as you mentioned. And that's really been on the upswing. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. The John Carroll Blue Streaks.
Yeah, they've been getting better and better as this season's moved along, Gabe.
Barnes trying to step into his man. Commendatore in front. Hit a man and went wide. Tommy Kilway, one-on-one. He's looking on against Aiden Conway, who swept it off his stick, but he did just get enough of it to move it into the zone. On the far side, there's another hit from behind by Conway. Kilway immediately looked to the official, never got the call. Here's Pramano racing along. On the far side, sends it in. Beck out of his net to play it. He'll sweep it along for Jake Friedman. 3:10 to go here in the first period. Still no score from the Kent State Ice Arena on this Winter Blast evening. Kinsman fakes one way, gives it along to Barnes. That's intercepted, couldn't get out of the zone. Here's a quick shot, save made by Beck, the rebound, and Beck got back to cover. And they're in Beck's crease, and that's not making Zach Barnes that happy. We'll sort out all the madness. 2:53 to go in the first.
Starting to wonder at this point if they need to start putting up "Beware the dog" signs inside of these cages. Whenever someone gets into the goaltender habitat.
One of them similar to what they put on Ian Herman's locker last year, the Bulldog sign, "Beware of dog." They'll send Weigand, and it looks to be Kinsman to the box. 2 each for roughing.
Yeah, I imagine the referees just want to kind of stay in control of the game here. There's obviously a lot of tension, a lot of big hits, and a lot of bodies flying here in the early going. They probably don't want that to escalate too much further than it is now.
Indications say that this faceoff will be to the right of Nick Beck. Gabriel will take it with Ethan Miller. Back to the point it comes. Bertoni off the clean win by Miller. That shot flutters high and wide. And a chance to break out here for Kent State. Hitting the brakes there was Jonathan Gabriel right near the linesman. He'll turn away from Ethan Miller, much to the delight of the crowd. Herberg lost that puck in his skates. Looked like there could have been a call there, but there won't be one. Here is Zarecki. Onside play. Patiently waiting, and now it's Kyle Holmes. Tried to send it in and hit the dasher a bit awkwardly. Herberg fighting to keep the puck in. He could not do that. Holmes takes his shove. Fogarty drops back. Minute 20 to go on these coincidental minors to Kinsman and Weigand. Herberg tried to move it along. It's held at the line. Chance in front. Beck got his stick on it. That was Carlo Bertoni that broke toward the net on a good feed by Richter. Zarecki dusts it off. Under 2 to play in period number 1. Kyle Vent sends it along, and now moving into the zone is Mitch Poswick. Fires, and a save made. Big rebound. 4-on-4. You don't have that extra guy there to whack that home. Ryan Young knocked out of midair there by Friedman. Racker moves in. Chris Racker, big hit there by Vent. They're going to call that. Deacon does not like the hit that Vent just delivered.
I'm not sure how much was hit or if it was a trip or if he caught an edge there. Looked like he might have stepped on the stick.
Crowd doesn't like it. It looks like a cross check is what they're going to call on Kyle Vent here.
Interesting. Yeah, obviously we don't have replay here, so we can't see exactly what happened. But in the heat of the moment, it looked like it was lower than it was higher to me. But I don't make the calls. And they've obviously got a better seat in the house than I do, so.
Kilway deliberating with the official here. Penalties just 2 minutes, it appears. So 4-on-3. You thought there was a lot of room before, now there's more. John Carroll's going to go with Young, Fogarty on the back end with Richter and Miller. Zarecki the forward with Barnes and Ostershell on this 4-on-3 power play. Good stick by Zarecki to move that out of the zone. Young drops back. 1:10 to go. Young enters cleanly. Fogarty will fall back. Gazdak fell over as he tried to enter the play. Now we're back to 4-on-3. Gazdak, Miller, fires, saved by Beck. No further play.
And this is where the Blue Streaks could be dangerous. They've got, an extra man, and they're in the offensive zone, and they're at the face-off dots where the Flashes have struggled.
And this is a huge face-off right here. As there's 1 second remaining on those coincidental minors. If you can win this draw and get it quick up to Kinsman, you got a good chance. But Unruh wins it cleanly. Kinsman let out of the box first. Quick shot. Beck, searching through traffic, was able to find it. Kinsman will clear. That will not be icing. This is a shorthanded situation. 40 seconds to go. Kinsman and Kilway, the forward pairing, along with Barnes and Ostershell. Chris Racker races in, step by Ostershell, tried to roof one. Going glove side, Deacon hit by Kinsman. Fogarty at the point, lets it go through traffic, a save by Beck. Back to Deacon it comes, 20 seconds to go in the first period. McNamara down low, Deacon. On to Fogarty. Touched along to Racker on the right wing. Fogarty over, Deacon with a shot, blocked. Flutters toward the net. Beck dives on top of it, hangs on with 6.7 to go.
Beck has had to be sharp. A lot of shots are getting through, and every once in a while a man's getting through too. A couple small defensive breakdowns for the Flash. He's had to be sharp, and he's had to be, had to have a modicum of, measured aggressiveness, especially on that earlier chance where he got a man in alone and he had to poke it away.
Face-off one here by John Carroll. 5 seconds. Racker lets it go. Hit Ostershell up high. 2 seconds and 1. And that is the first frame from this in-state rivalry. John Carroll and Kent State. We'll take you to the first intermission here on this Winter Block. Back here at the Kent State Ice Arena, period 2, just about set to get underway. John Carroll's taking the ice, and here are the flashes. Well, in that first period, I think we were discussing it during intermission. It was a bit sloppy. I think that's the word that we kind of landed on.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the game we saw back at Duquesne a while ago, where I think I called the game a trash can or something, something of that nature. But it was a really messy, dirty period. Lots of missed passes, lots of choppy pucks. No one could really get a handle on it. Lots of fan shots. I assume they'll look here to clean it up in the second.
There is one carryover penalty to speak of. It's on Kyle Vent for the cross-check. 39 seconds. The Blue Streaks will start with a power play, and it is Peyton Fogarty as period 2 is underway. Nick Beck out of his net to play it, just going to clear it along. It got to Racker, and now back to the point Deacon. Along to Fogarty on the far side. Here is Sean Deacon. Was robbed in that first period. Fogarty fires. Save made by Beck through the traffic. Couldn't get it out, though. Fogarty holds the line. Sends a floater toward the net. Save made there by Beck. Pushing across. Trying to locate the puck. Zarecki got it out. Racker fires it in. 2 seconds and 1. Kyle Vent's free from the box. And the Flashes are going to immediately ice the puck as soon as that penalty expires. 19-12 to go. They kill off another penalty.
Yeah, Flash has got to be happy that that one ended as cleanly as it did. We didn't get a chance to mention it before the break, but John Carroll's power play, if the stats, again, are to be believed, is quite filthy at a 37.5%. You just don't see that.
37, that's high.
Just a little bit.
A little bit high. Ryan Young at the point, fires, dribbler, and Beck swept it out with the paddle. Good alert play by Nick Beck. Racing in now is Friedman, and he collides with Miller. Zarecki holds backhand shot, save made, tumbling into the goaltender. There was Joey Gallo, and are they going to send him for this? Net was off the moorings, so it looks like that's all.
I was going to say, I didn't think that was going to be a penalty. It seemed as though he was pushed and maybe tripped a little bit into the goaltender. It wasn't intentional, so they play on.
Don't know if you caught that chant. Check's a traitor. That was the chant here in the Kent State Ice Arena.
He's definitely feeling the love here this evening.
Oh, yeah. Back the puck comes for Aiden Conway. His first experience of having a fan base be hostile toward him, Henry Check. Conway holds. Tries to move it along and got it to Putnam. Stepping up is Holmes. Ahead this one comes for Max Richter. Miller sweeping at it. Holmes was there. Back in it comes now. Ethan Miller. Across and a break up there by Kilway. Point to point it finds Ryan Young with a shot broken up by Friedman, and he finished a check on him as well. Herberg moves it along. One touch pass there by Jack Kinsman. Friedman trying to step around Ethan Miller, and he did. Trying to work it deep into the zone. Now, battle amongst those two. Here's Jack Kinsman winning it back. Twisting. Miller and Friedman still jawing behind the play. Thrown in front. Opportunity there for Kilway and a diving poke check by Alex Smatt. It'll be held in here by Friedman. Collision. Kilway. Young moved him along. And it's picked up here once again by Richter. Gabriel can clear. Still continue to ping pong around, but this is what you can expect. Physical, low-scoring games, and the real outlier was the one earlier this season where John Carroll defeated Kent State at Gilmore 7-1. Firth Grushishinsky had an opportunity there. Gazdak hits the deck. Wasn't able to get that puck on net. Unruh in behind. Here is Henry Check. Here in the booze. He's finished off by Ostershell. Quick shot. Try to go upstairs. Blocker side. Beck having none of that. Gallo trying to clear it around, nobody there. Firth Grushishinsky back to the point, Gazdak. Fires, blocked by Gallo. You got Zarecki ahead of the pack, and it's just broken up enough by Tristan Wigan. Battle for the puck, good strength on his skates by Zach Zarecki. That's just going to be melted down by Alex Smatt. And I'll tell you what, if that pass from Gabriel got through, it would be a good chance for Zach Zarecki.
Yeah, they were a little slow getting the pass off, kind of telegraphed it. Beforehand, it could have driven a truck through that lane, but able to recognize and close it up before the pass got there. One thing that hasn't changed between the periods is the John Carroll defense looking to throw the body at the blue line. Saw it from Miller, almost paid the price for it. And Conway back in the first did it a lot as well.
Gazdak finished off by Creston. Rankin was able to hold the line. Puck nudged out, Commendator. Controlling it on the near side, picked up now by Primano. Primano stepped into by Creston. He lost his footing. Puck controlled now at neutral ice and dumped in by Commendatore. Ryan Ostershell using the glass to get this one as far as center ice where Wigan knocked it down. Primano moves in. He's got her with him. Tried to drop it off. Puck's just sitting there, and it's scooped up now by Nick Creston. Creston tried to deliver the reverse hit to Wigan. That was a seismic collision. Puck out of the reach of Samuel Herr, and this will be an icing. 16-16 to go in the second period, rather.
Man, I don't know exactly what it is, but a lot of these divisional games, they just play entirely differently from, the non-divisional, non-rivalry games. It seems like you can take all the stats, all the trends, everything, throw out the books. It's always going to be a tight-knit contest, especially between these two teams.
Always, yes. Vent trying to hold the line there. He's shoved by Commendator. Puck fought for, and now it comes back to Wigan. Trying to nudge one in with Sam Herr. Picked up by Kyle Vent. He moves ahead. Vent trying to snap one along. He's tied up by Chris Racker. Trying to whack one out of the air. Here's Save Thompson with a quick shot. Save made. The rebound is loose. Couldn't get enough elevation on that from Save Thompson. Here is Poswick. Everybody tags up. It's an onside play. Fogarty drops back for John Carroll. Fogarty chased. Took a hit. Deacon slipping one along. That's offside. There's a big hit on J.S. Florick after the whistle.
Drew a very interesting fan reaction there.
Yeah, words exchanged, but face-off will be at neutral ice right in front of the John Carroll bench. Here is Sean Deacon racing in. On the near side, dumps it in. McNamara battling with Holmes. Puck snaps along. It's bouncing, but it's corralled now by Friedman. Friedman tried to get it through for Kilway. Couldn't do so. A pass from Carlo Bertoni goes awry. Fogarty drops back. Bertoni takes a hit from Friedman, and Bertoni had to throw it right in front. It ended up being frozen there by Smat.
Well, usually I'd say I'm kind of surprised he chose to cover that up. He had three of his own guys right there, and the Flashes player was in the boards. But again, when your face-off is this strong, why not?
Right, yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's almost a guarantee he's going to get the puck back.
It seems like a way to just win possession easily. Kinsman's going to try and change that narrative, but Ethan Miller will keep it just the same. Face-off win again. Conway takes a shove from Kilway. Now here is Putnam racing through center. Putnam hits the brakes, looking for some help. Like a missile towards him was Tommy Kilway, and he's got the puck now. Has an outlet here in Jacob Friedman on the near side. Friedman gains the line, trying to drag his way around Conway, and he did. Gets it back to the point to Holmes. Bouncing puck, he was able to corral it. And behind, out of the reach of Kinsman. Young races over in the far corner. Takes a check. Richter held in by Herberg. All the way around. This will come to Kyle Holmes. Using the skate to just kick it back in. Holmes throwing the body around. Gabriel gets to the loose puck. Wheels one wide. Just trying to get some sort of possession here. Still a bit sloppy in the offensive end, but around it comes for Kinsman. Trying to get that backhand pass right in front. It's knocked away. Now here's Putnam. He's got to be gassed. He's been out there a while. Hands it off to Richter. He'll stay out there. Shot, try to go upstairs. Another blocker save and a big hit. And now Barnes is going after Richter. Wow. That's passion from Zach Barnes, and it might have cost him the rest of this game.
I don't think there's a question about that. I mean, the initial hit was pretty interesting. It looked like he grabbed him by the head and threw him down, and then the retaliation was probably worse than the original offense there.
Zach Barnes will hit the showers early.
And then it looks like they're still going to call the initial penalty for the hit.
So now, as there always is in these John Carroll games, a nice long discussion in front of the scorer's table.
That might just be an ACHA thing. You know, with all the hitting, it's a very physical brand of hockey. And you can't go a game without some big hits.
Have to wonder what happened. My eyes were off the play. It looked like Barnes just had a hit delivered, and next thing I know, I'm looking over there, he's throwing some punches. So,
well, from what I saw, Gabe, it looked like the hit, he kind of reached up behind, and it looked like he may have grabbed Barnes by the back of the head, and then kind of twisted him and threw him, over his shoulder down. And I guess the Barnes just did not like that and decided to retaliate in.
It looked like he didn't. It looked like he didn't even care that he'd get the gate. That's what it looked like to me.
Yeah, no question about it. That's gonna get you kicked out 10 times out of 10, and depending on your league, is gonna get you some games off.
Yeah, have to think about a potential suspension there. Yeah, absolutely. Never crossed my mind. So this deliberation continues. Wigan, Bertoni, and Gazdak in front of the scorer's table, as well as Zarecki and Kilway.
Going to be interesting to see what they call, because I think originally it was just going to be, a 2-minute on John Carroll, but with the retaliation, that's clearly going to add something to it, especially with the game misconduct. So it'll be interesting to see what they divvy up here.
Scott Chantery on the John Carroll bench was asking for 5, and there's 5 on the board right now. Have to assume that this major penalty will likely be assessed. And so a John Carroll power play that has been pretty lethal, as we mentioned, at 37.5%.
They got 2 minutes up on the board here for that John Carroll hit as well, so it'll at least be
2 minutes against John Carroll, yes. So,
but they'll still get the 3-minute power play regardless.
And that they can score at will on that power play as well, due to it being a major. So we'll play 4-on-4 for 2 minutes.
And that could be costly. Again, this is a John Carroll power play that is scary. Granted, on the Flash's side, their penalty kill is very solid. It's their best form of special teams, but I don't think anybody wants to face this John Carroll power play, especially for that long.
Curious as to where the face-off will end up here, and it looks like it'll be in front of the John Carroll bench. At least that's where the linesman's standing right now. So now you've got a game plan for life without Zach Barnes for the remainder of this game. 34 more minutes of regulation. There's still no score, but losing a defenseman obviously hurts a little bit. Kyle Baxton will serve the penalty that Barnes cannot.
I'll get ready for even more of a healthy helping of probably Brian Ostershell, who seems to be the minute eater.
Yes. Last year it was Justin Bioni. This year it seems to be the freshman Brian Ostershell. Here's McNamara. It's 4-on-4. McNamara tosses one in front. Back to the point it comes to Wigan. Have to wonder if that scuffle will affect the rest of the physicality in this game moving forward, whether the John Carroll players will take offense to what Zach Barnes did. Have to imagine the answer to that question is probably yes. But here is Poswick. Can't deliberate on things we don't know yet. Kyle Vent snapping one ahead. That's cut off easily by Gazdak. He turns away from a hit, and it's picked up now by Poswick, protecting and moving along. Poswick clears only as far as Wigand at the blue line. Miller comes off, Deacon comes on for John Carroll. Racker got away from Gallo, twisting. Racker to Fogarty. Good chance in the high slot. Fogarty steps by, lets it go, and it goes over the blocker of Beck. Beck sliding over to keep his post there, and now behind is Zach Zarecki, just trying to kill some time here. Even though we are at even strength right now, still suffocating pressure here delivered by John Carroll, and they force another turnover. Puck comes to Sean Deacon, touched across to Fogarty. Good look, and a save by Beck. No further play, 12:47 to go.
Yeah, so far, if anything, the biggest response from John Carroll has just been the strong play on the ice between the whistles. And not quite in the physicality front. We'll have to see if it's just going to generate to, on ice momentum, or if it's going to kind of go the other way and lead to more physicality.
Fogarty on the far side, now low. Good chance for Pfeiffer there. First look at him. Pfeiffer played in this game last year. No stranger to the rivalry. Here's Fogarty sending one onto the net. That's swept away by the paddle of Nick Beck. Along to help out was Herberg. Unruh back to the point. This is Young. Holding, fires, saved by Beck, and he'll freeze it again. 24 seconds left of 4-on-4 time, then 3 minutes of a power play for John Carroll.
So far, flashes are mostly keeping him to the outside, keeping those perimeter shots and some shots from distance that Nick Beck can see. But they're already playing like they're on the power play, so the next 4 minutes could be the deciding factor in this game.
It sure feels like that, doesn't it? On a rare face-off win for the Golden Flashes here. Rankin in. He's got Holmes with him, who's got the puck now. Holmes sends one toward the net. Big rebound again. It's picked up now by Pfeiffer. He'll race along. Pfeiffer tried to touch it along to Unruh. It's cut off by Holmes. Gains the red line, dumps it in. 5 seconds until John Carroll's going 5-on-4. Out of the box is Richter, and away we go. 3 more minutes, they can score at will. Got to get into the zone first, though, and they'll leave that up to Carlo Bertoni, who dusts this one off. Back for Deacon. Fogarty holds. They make their changes, and the breakout gets started. Deacon dumps it in. Back out of the net to play it. Just going to try and help himself out there. Didn't get a lot of it. Kinsman tried to chip it off the boards and move with that puck. Back to the point it comes. Racker touches it along for Deacon. Back to Racker. They play catch. Racker fires. That hit a sea of bodies in front of the net. Ostershell took the worst of it, it looks like.
I think he took it up high right around the neck and chin area. That doesn't feel good.
Looks like he was grabbing at his chest. Oh, no. Maybe where the sun don't shine.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but he wasn't too happy coming back to the bench.
So now you're down Ostershell and Barnes for the time being, at least. Deacon holds it at the point. Fogarty, far side. Peyton Fogarty looking for options. He twirls. Racker, Deacon, high slot, lets it go from the top of the circle. It was blocked, never got to Beck. They've killed a minute of this off. Minute 50 to go now. Deacon, along for Racker. Broken up by Zarecki, and he couldn't quite corral the puck cleanly. He's got Gallo with him, and he'll move it along to him. Joey Gallo sends this one down low, just trying to eat up some more time. Zarecki needs a change, gets one in the form of Jack Kinsman. Fogarty racing along with speed. On the far side, Fogarty tries to send one into the slot, broken up by Kyle Vent. He's got time, and he'll play it off the glass. Smart play by Kyle Vent there to chew some more clock.
Well aimed clear, too. Got the perfect bounce and everything, sent it straight down.
Racker. Minute 15 to go on the power play. Big hit by Kilway, and another clear by Vent. It's the period of the long change, too. That's worth mentioning. Change becomes a lot more difficult, and especially here in a long power play situation. We're exactly halfway through the second frame. 10 minutes to go. 1 minute left on this power play. Richter was tied up from behind. Kilway trying to slam it out of the zone, couldn't do so. It was held on by Wygant. Young lets it go. Glove saved by Beck. No further play.
Well, the interesting thing to me here so far in this long power play has been John Carroll has been super lackadaisical with the puck. Kind of taking their time, and it really started when Richter came out of the box. They ate up about 30 to 40 seconds of their own power play time, just getting the right guys on the ice. A complete, night and day contrast to the power play earlier when they were very on top of it and very aggressive.
That was a dangerous chance for Putnam in front.
It's also worth noting, Wygant's, I think, been out here for this entire opportunity.
Sure has felt that way. Some of these guys just eat minutes. They stay on the ice.
Defensemen.
Yeah. It must be something with this league. I mean, these guys have incomparable stamina.
Yeah, we've seen guys put up 30, 40 minutes a game with ease.
That does get out. Wygant ends up doing the Flashes a favor by sending it all the way back down into his own zone. 30 seconds to go on this kill. Kyle Baxton is the one serving it. Young dumps this one in. Beck. One goes way up in the air and skirts along the dasher. Drop back for Weigand, has a look, and another glove save by Beck.
Well, speaking of Weigand, that brings us to one of my fun facts of the evening that I know everyone loves so much.
Oh, here we go.
So Tristan Weigand leads both teams here tonight in penalty minutes with a whopping 56. That's a good chunk.
56 penalties for Weigand through 23 games. This is game number 24 for John Carroll. And a divisional game at that. These ones are big. John Carroll 8 points in the CHMA standings. Kent State was 6, so this is a big one. One that you probably want in regulation. They've killed the penalty off. Baxton's free from the box. Preston hits Richter, just moves it along. Young holds the line, and it's broken up again by Creston trying to move it out of the zone, and it does get out. Picked up by Gillespie. 3-on-2 if they hurry. Rankin curls, fires. He got the glass. Now racing the other way, a potential odd man rush for John Carroll. Miller steps around Baxton. Shoved by Poswick. Miller goes down. Battle for the puck in the far corner. 8:25 to go in period number 2. Gabe Kalira, Chris Hodson, no score here from the Kent State Ice Arena in this second and final meeting of the regular season between these two in-state rivals. Mitch Poswick trying to move it along. Had Rankin in front of him. And now all the way back this puck comes. Chance in. And a save by Beck. Joseph Primano is in solo, and Nick Beck, having none of that, shuts it down with just under 8 minutes to go.
Well, both teams, as I've mentioned, very aggressive on the blue line. This time it was the Flashes who were a little too aggressive. Didn't notice the man behind, and he gets a free breakaway.
Always good to have a goaltender that can bail you out in situations like that. I'm so accustomed to seeing Nick Beck do just that. There's a bouncing puck that stayed in. So this is an onside play. John Carroll does not have to tag up, but Savade Thompson takes this one away. Here comes Thompson, trying to fire one toward the net. It's trickles wide. Bent trying to throw one right back on net. Savade Thompson trying to deliver a check as well there. Sam Herr able to get it out. Foot race now, which J.S. Floric wins, and that'll be icing. Takes the heat out of the hot kitchen for just a little bit.
Okay, you mentioned Nick Beck and how you kind of get used to seeing him, be as strong as he's been here tonight. It hasn't always been, maybe the season, he hoped for that we're used to seeing from Nick Beck, but something about these John Carroll games, they always seem to bring out the absolute best in Nick Beck.
Of course, last year, the big save at the end of regulation, which clinched a win for Kent State here. You're absolutely right, Chris. It does seem to bring out his best. Preston stick handling, using the glass to get this one out as far as Fogarty, who is at center. Cleared right back in and icing again. So John Carroll will have to keep the same personnel on the ice.
Well, the other thing you mentioned, Gabe, is the divisional play. And we haven't really talked about it too much, other than the fact that obviously these two teams are big rivals, but this is a must-win game for the Flashes in division. They're 2 points back of John Carroll, who's also tied with Duquesne. But John Carroll has 3 games in hand over the Flashes. They can't afford to lose this one.
Yeah, this is a big one you don't want to drop. Back to the point, Creston couldn't handle it. It will create a foot race here. Beck will help his guys out a little bit here. Fake one way, go the other. Another one of those sonks from Nick Beck. Dropping back is Young for John Carroll. Under 7 minutes to go here in the second period. McNamara drops this one off. Deacon touched across. Sliding save again by Beck. He got a piece of it. There's a big collision in behind the net that involved Ostershell and McNamara. Out to the point, Young. Good look. Swallowed by Beck. With just under 6.5 to go. Still no score.
Yeah, that whole last chance was just brought about by McNamara making his presence known behind the net. You pretty much had to pay your way if you wanted to get behind the net with him there, and it opened up a little bit of space, and he got the puck back out to the blue line. Another face-off, and another face-off win for John Carroll.
There's a shot from the point from Conway, flutters wide. Henry check. Once again, hearing it from the crowd. Holmes holds. Takes a shove. Jonathan Gabriel, powerful skater, moves in. Gabriel to the net, and a save made. Rebound Zarecki. Good stop again by Alex Smatt. Probably the best chance they've had all night, and it will result in an icing.
Well, one thing that's becoming more and more apparent is you're not going to beat Smatt down low.
Got to try and get some elevation, absolutely.
Pretty much every shot the Flashes have had, or every good chance, has been down low, and he's just had that whole area covered. They've got to find a way to not only elevate it, but put it on net with elevation. So far, most of the elevated shots have sailed over the top of the crossbar, and it's not really been close.
Official dropped that puck relatively quickly, and a chance from Poswick to the point was saved, and Smatt's got a bone to pick with the linesman there.
Well, not only did they elevate it there, they won a face-off, so there's two wild things in one go.
Now John Carroll will get to change. Fan favorite Henry Check comes to the bench.
This time to nothing from the crowd.
Had a few words for Jake Herberg, though, as he was headed, so that's something to keep an eye on potentially. Not sure if they were friendly or hostile. That one lost in the skates. Puck loose. Chance in front for Gabriel. Taken away now by Putnam. Zarecki couldn't gain that puck back, and now Tyler Putnam races ahead. Good play by Vent, trying to play the body. And now Putnam and Vent tied up right in front of Beck. Poswick races ahead. Good skating. Poswick sachets by one man and evades a big hit from Ethan Miller. Look at Poswick all the way to the net, and a save made by Smatt. Mitch Gillespie steps into a man. What a chance for Mitchell Poswick, though. Had a good look. Here's Gazdak. Flashes turning up the heat a little bit. They've got Creston playing on the back end with Ostershell. Always good to have a guy that can play both ways, and Nick Creston's that guy. Ostershell tried to send it out of the zone. Wigan gloved it down. Hand pass is the call.
It is worth noting that Ostershell obviously is back out here after taking that puck a little earlier in the period, so that's always good to see. And finally, a little momentum here for these Flashes. Seems like, in part, obviously due to the penalties, but for the most part, this period's been all blue streaks.
Tie up. Back it comes for Ostershell. Creston trying to send it ahead. Rankin's ahead of the pack. It won't be icing. Bertoni trying to get it out of the zone, held by Baxton. And then Creston is able to hold the line at the point. Puck is loose and fought for now between Bertoni and Baxton. Eventually corralled there by John Carroll and held in again by Creston, but this time able to step by, and a foot race now between Permano and Ostershell. Ostershell got just enough of that. Tries to move it out of the zone. Back it comes to Fogarty. That hit Gillespie right in the hand. Loose puck in front, and Beck is all over that. Chance still, they whack away at it. In behind it comes Commendator. Left it behind for Permano. Back to the point, Bertoni, and it got away from him. Under 4 to go in the second period of play. Still no score in the Kent State Ice Arena. Creston tried to hit Wenger, who was looking to streak behind the defense. It was cut off easily by Fogarty, and right back in it comes. Creston nearly turned it over. Savay Thompson. Pass was a little too hot for Bennett Wenger to handle, and stepping into it is Conway now. Racker trying to move it out of the zone. Comes as far as Aiden Conway at center. Delayed offside. Everybody tags up for John Carroll. Creston's got to hurry with it. Wenger. Not a bad breakout there. Savay Thompson gets it. Thompson, 1-on-2. Quick shot, save made by Smatt. Another rebound. Tell you what, he's been solid down low, but the rebounds have been there. Just can't get anybody to him. Young, long for Conway. Good play by J.S. Floric to win that puck back. Wenger trying to move it along. Floric now. Good play by Conway to hold it. Now taken by Kinsman. That's Kilway, rather, who is streaking down the slot. This one held at the line by Herberg. Herbert touches it along for Floric. Chance in front. But to change direction there as Wenger was trying to get a piece of it. McNamara tied up from behind by Kilway. Got by Conway. Flash is able to change here in this period of the long change, and that will be an icing. John Carroll's got to keep a tired bunch of guys out on the ice and a potential opportunity here.
Flash is starting to build some momentum, gain some zone time, but it still feels like this is as much a fight with the puck as it is with the other team. Seems nobody can get a good handle on it for more than a few seconds at a time. Lots of missed passes and lots of just choppy swing at the puck and hope for the best type of plays here.
Gloves and sticks are on knees here for John Carroll. They're tired. Big face-off there, and they still fight for it. Young eventually ends up with it, and he sends it into the netting. Now they'll be able to change. Fortunate bounce. Does it hit the glass first?
Well, Flashes really have to find a way to start winning some face-offs here. They're not going to take advantage of opportunities like that if you can't win the face-off, especially cleanly.
Well, they're down Barnes, as we mentioned, on the defensive end, but worth noting they're also down Donovan Palmer. Torn AC joint in the right shoulder. 2 to 6 weeks for that recovery is what we were told. But we're reassured by Donovan that it won't be 6 weeks. This one is picked up by Ethan Miller. Sent along for Richter. Through center, Gazdak. Under 2 minutes to go in the second period. Gazdak with a shot swept aside by Beck. Good rebound control by the sophomore netminder. Here's Putnam with a quick shot. Another blocker save made by Beck. Holmes sending this one around. Gazdak with a quick shot. Richter changed direction in front, and Beck's got it. Minute 36 to go in period number 2.
Well, here comes another opportunity to win a defensive zone face-off. Really hope Flashes find a way to win it and not allow John Carroll to start building momentum again, especially in the offensive zone.
Off the tie-up, quick shot. I don't know if Beck got a piece of that, but it did, for the first time in 2023, hit the ceiling.
The low ceiling, I might add, as well.
Low ceilings here at the Kent State Ice Arena.
That hasn't changed.
Don't know if you knew. No renovations over winter break. They're still low.
And they probably will be for the foreseeable future, as they have been for many years now.
Years and years, yes. Gabriel, that puck just ahead of him. Gabriel wins it back. Quick shot and another stop. And thrown right back into the fray by Zarecki. Gabriel's got it, twisting. Just over a minute to go. Gabriel tried to throw it in front. Gallo was posted up there right in front of the net. Gallo trying to create another turnover for Weigand. This Zarecki, Gallo, and Gabriel line has produced the best chances tonight. That's offside.
Yeah, worth noting as well, Savay Thompson had a few chances as well this period. We've been calling his name quite a bit, actually,
yes,
here in this period.
Solid performance so far tonight from Savay Thompson.
Yeah, guys are getting chances. You just got to find a way to elevate it and just get one past Smat here.
Always seems to come down to the wire with these two teams. And good to know there's no love lost. Kinsman and McNamara on this draw. Flashes are able to win that face-off.
Like an awkward face-off win. I kind of thought they were going to whistle it and do it again.
Looked like that was the opinion of all the players that were out there as well. Here's a turnover. Friedman to the outside, tried to wheel one in front. That was broken up. Chris Racker on the control, moving down the far side. Couldn't step his way around Jack Kinsman. Did a good job defensively there at neutral ice. That goes into the John Carroll bench. And we have another stoppage.
Well, going back to our discussion earlier about, the division and, kind of where things are lining up with only a few weeks left, how much would you like to see these two teams in a playoff matchup again?
It would just be awesome. I mean, the matchup last year was good in the postseason. Of course, John Carroll hosted the playoffs last year. This year they'll be at IUP. Bertoni in front, chance for Racker. It comes back into the high slot, tried to play it across. A little bit too cute there on the backhand from Carlo Bertoni. All the way down this one comes Jack Kinsman. Quick skater racing with Fogarty here. Fogarty is able to win that race. Strong on his skates, 10 seconds to go in the second period. Fogarty hauled down by Kilway. John Carroll wants a penalty. They won't get one. Sent in 2 seconds and 1, and that is 2 periods with no goals from the Kent State Ice Arena. We'll take you to second intermission now. Score 0-0. Don't go anywhere. Should be a great third period. Period 3 from the Kent State Ice Arena. It's been a good day in Kent State sports so far. 6:20 to go in the second half. Over at the Memorial Athletic and Convocation Center where the Flashes lead Ball State 71-51. Men's basketball team received 8 votes in the last AP poll, Chris.
On a tear.
It's been a fun season to watch for Kent State. All signs point to them improving to 16-3 on the year, remaining undefeated in conference play, the only MAC team to be undefeated in conference play, as we get a Frisbee all the way up here in the broadcast booth.
Trying to take me out, Gabe.
And period 3's underway. Racker with a quick shot that goes wide of the glove hand side, and now it is controlled by Peyton Fogarty. Fogarty fakes one way, goes for Deacon at the point. Pass across, looking for Racker. Battle for the puck now, and it's one. Quick shot by Racker and a blocker save by Beck. Jack Kinsman trying to slide by. This puck squirts all the way out towards center ice, and dropping back is Carlo Bertoni. Bertoni handles. And at center ice it is Kyle Vent. Taken now by Fogarty. Fogarty fakes the slap shot and lost control of the puck. Still loose. Sliding save had to be made there by Nick Beck. Kinsman fighting for this puck. Back it comes for Ethan Miller. Slid in front. A chance for Putnam that goes high and wide to the glove side of Nick Beck. Gabriel corrals this puck. Look at Jonathan Gabriel strong on his skates. Took a hit. Puck is loose. And now taking a shot at Gabriel is Smack. How about that?
That was a little bit out of nowhere.
It sure was.
Wasn't too much going on. I mean, it's just took a little extra hack at the goaltender, but it wasn't anything egregious or more than what you normally see after play. I guess he decided there was nobody in the vicinity, so he's going to take him on himself.
Might as well.
The crowd agreed.
The crowd very much agreed, yeah. Oh, man. Faceoff's coming outside. Not sure why. Flashes must have had both of those defensemen below the hash marks, so. Gallo tried to advance into the zone. Weigand ended up with control of it, sent it ahead. And there's a turnover by Ostershell Putnam with a curl and drag shot that goes wide of the blocker's side. Joey Gallo leaves it for Gabriel. Potential odd man rush here. Gabriel has a look, throws it toward the net. And it hit the outside of the cage, and it comes back to Gabriel. Thrown in front for Zarecki, scores!
Well, the trailers for John Carroll started to look up ice maybe a little early. Didn't see Zarecki coming up the back. Got the pass over, and there was nobody there, and finally an elevated shot and a shot with no one in front.
The captain sends this place into a frenzy. Scoring's been open. It's Zach Zarecki. It's 1-0. Kyle Baxton fires one toward the net. Smat, a little bit rattled, in behind the net. Controlled here by Rankin. Flashes look to pour it on now. Definitely a momentum gainer. Battle for the puck behind the net. Officials want him to move it, and it does come loose for Baxton. To the point, it's Holmes. Rankin trying to work it back toward the point. And it's able to be worked out. Zach Zarecki from Nick Creston. He draws the lone assist. Flashes get on the board first. The all-important first goal. Ryan Young. Control, sends it forward. Broken up by J.S. Florick. Now controlled by Savade Thompson. Racing in, Thompson. Backhand pass looking for Florick, and it just got away from him. Picked up by Sam Herr. Herr ahead to Primano. Offside, was delayed, and it's picked up now by Florick. Hands it off for Wenger, back to Florick. Florick stepping right through. Back to Wenger with a quick shot. Blocker to side by Smack. Kyle Venn ends up with this here at neutral ice. He'll go diagonally to the near corner. Flashes execute a change behind the plate. Fogarty from center, red and in. Back to get it is Vent. Just going to chip it off the dasher. That one came on goal then. Ridgebeck swept it away with the stick. Her hauled down. Moved forward by Poswick, and this puck does escape. Icing is the call there, and Kilway does not like that call.
There aren't many calls out that the Kilway does like. He's not really a friend of the referee. He very often is in the middle of things. And you already kind of touched on it, Gabe, but the importance of the first goal, it can't be understated for the Flashes this season. They're 5-3 when they score first, which doesn't sound overly impressive, but when you look at what happens when the other team scores first against them, they're 1-6.
Yeah, so that all-important first tally, Flashes do get that tonight. McNamara trying to move it along. It's clear. This will be another icing. 16:39 to go. 1-0 Flashes on the goal by Zach Zarecki.
This is usually the part where I'd, take a look at the John Carroll side and maybe give you a, sort of a retrospective on their end when it comes to allowing the first goal. But unfortunately, thanks to the ACHA and some interesting stats I found today, I have nothing for you.
That website, it's not very friendly, is it?
Last weekend's games against Rochester are not even listed in the Flash's schedule, so we had to get creative.
What are you going to do? Had to go back and find those YouTube streams from the Rochester Athletic Department.
Well, there's nothing like looking at a 480p stream trying to figure out who scored.
Reverse hit there on Poswick. It's picked up by Racker, swept along by Poswick. Nice play. Here's Friedman. They break out. Friedman trying to step around Wigan. And now a battle for the puck in behind. Kinsman picking at it with Friedman. Gazdak sealing off Kinsman. He's trying to work himself free, and he did. Good strength on his skates. Jack Kinsman loses it, and now ahead comes Ethan Miller. Top line back out there. These are the big boys. Slid across, and a good opportunity there for Sean Deacon, but he couldn't get a backhand on it. Miller to the point for Young. Change a couple guys behind the play. Chance in front, and again it hits Ostershell. He's down, slow to get up. Kilway will just send this in on the backhand.
He got hit in the same area.
Ryan Ostershell, I'll tell you what, he's a warrior.
And he's got the puck magnet on the night.
Zach Zarecki, back for Holmes. Zarecki steps by, he moves in with speed. Zarecki, curl and drag, couldn't step around Putnam. This comes for Miller. Miller sends it in deep. Holmes is there, plays it along for Jonathan Gabriel. Snap pass, Zach Zarecki. Waits for some reinforcements, takes a tough angle shot, glove down by Smat. With 5 minutes even gone in the third period. That means 15 minutes to go, and it's 1-0 Flashes.
Well, we're starting to creep into that time of the night where I've got to reach into my repertoire of fun facts, but I'm not going to give you one right now.
Oh, little bit of a
just something to look forward to.
Little teaser. Dropping back is Fogarty. I can't wait for it. You got me on the edge of my seat. We don't even have seats.
That's what I'm here for, Gabe.
Puck fought for here in the Kent State end. Paxton takes a big hit. Delivered by Firth Grushishinsky. Racing ahead is David Rankin. Rankin tries to cut toward the high slot. Broken up. Here's Henry Check. In case you couldn't tell. Moved along by Poswick. And now Gillespie. Down low. Trying to go to the point. Nobody was home. Vent. Vent works all the way in. Kyle Vent throws one on net. And a blocker save made by Smat. Not a bad bid there from Vent. Stepping up is Savade Thompson. Spins away from a check. Thompson works it in deeper again. Firth Grushishinsky will just let it go all the way back to Smat, and he'll melt it down. 14:06 to go.
What with Zarecki's goal here this evening, assuming my stats are correct, which they, I know for a fact that they aren't up to date 100% since we don't have the stats from last Friday's game. But if we don't count that game, which I'm not since I don't have the stats for it, that moves Zarecki up into the top spot on the team, tied with Kinsman for 13 points this season.
It was a big weekend for a lot of those guys at Rochester. Here's a slap shot that came from Deacon that goes wide. Gastak now over to the point. Wigan lets a shot fly that flutters wide. McNamara tries to toss one back in front. Puck squirts right back out towards center. Gazdak will leave it there for Weigand. Vent. Off the turnover, now it's Weigand again. Weigand marching into the zone. From behind, Thompson got a piece of him. Here's a quick shot that hits the glass. In behind Beck. Deacon has a man driving. It's Gazdak! What a save by Nick Beck! That puck did not go! Wow! Ostershell steps into Racker, who holds the line. And then Ostershell cuts off the pass. Up ahead of the pack was Tommy Kilway. Couldn't corral the pass. Trying to create a turnover now. Friedman steps into Gazdak. It's Kilway trying to drop it back to the point. Her intercepts. Racker racing the other way for John Carroll. Gains a red line, dumps it in. Near side, Ostershell steps away from a check that came from her. Elevates it out towards center ice. Her twisting. Back with the puck. Whistle goes. Hand pass.
Well, bring your total of show-stopping saves tonight by Nick Beck to 2.
That's
I don't know.
Ridiculous stop. I'm not sure how he kept it out.
No, it looked like for sure it was going to roll over, and maybe either he pulled it out with the glove or a defenseman got him with the stick and just popped it out, but it doesn't get much closer than that.
Face off in the neutral zone. Right in front of the penalty boxes. Zarecki, curl and drag. Kick save made by Smat. Gallo was able to work it behind for Zarecki. Trying to turn away from a check, and he did so. Young did get just enough of him to break that pass up, and now it's a 3-on-2 if they hurry. Commendator up ahead for her. Her, drop it back down low. Commendator lost his footing there momentarily, and it comes for Gabriel. Oh, it's whacked out of the air with a high stick. Gabriel touched it along, ended up turning it over, and her with a slapper that's grabbed by Nick Beck. And he says, let's just calm things down here, fellas.
Yeah, he's been very strong. He's been measuredly aggressive when he's had to be. And it's just been another strong outing for him, as we've pretty much beat the horse to death here this evening with that. But it's just something about these divisional matches, especially with John Carroll, just brings out the best in Nick Beck.
Richter, slapper, kicked away. Right pad of Beck comes out there. Putnam collides with his own man at the point there. And now a foot race will ensue. Fogarty will win it easily. He's hurried there by Kyle Baxton, and the puck stayed in the zone. Fogarty is able to step away here. Peyton Fogarty racing ahead. Stepped into by Kyle Holmes. Good check by the defenseman. Putnam trying to sashay by, drop past Bertoni. That one way off. Finds David Rankin, and he's able to sweep it out as far as Gillespie. Now racing ahead is Baxton. Drop pass, Rankin trying to turn away from a check that came from Ethan Miller. Near the point, Putnam gloves it down and moves ahead. Nice move to step by Poswick. Putnam on the backhand, tries to send one toward the net, broken up. Waving at this loose puck, Thompson comes in from behind. Miller goes down, poked ahead, foot race now. Floric and Gazdak. Gazdak will get there first. Clayton Gazdak, under 11 minutes to go here from the Kent State Ice Arena. Still 1-0. Lone goal belongs to the captain, Zach Zarecki. Nudged along there by J.S. Floric and dumped in by Kyle Vent. Clayton Gazdak will dust it off in behind, look to get a breakout started. Flashes playing with 1-2-2 structure through neutral ice. That puck's ahead of Firth Grushishinsky, and it will be an icing. What happened here behind the play?
I didn't see a hit. I think he just fell, but I only saw it out of the corner of my eye.
Flash's bench took exception here.
Well, it might have taken a
shove.
An extra hit. I didn't see it. I just judged based on how far they were apart from each other that maybe he had just fallen, but
we can make our own pseudo replay if we check this the YouTube stream that we're currently airing to the audience here. Oh, he did take a shove. Firth Grushishinsky with a little shove to Kyle Vent. The linesman goes down, and now an odd man rush for John Carroll. Firth Grushishinsky tosses one in front. Linesman appears to be okay. Kilway twirls by. Kilway all the way in, clean entry. Although it is broken up. Here's Henry Check. Racker now. Chris Racker whacked at there by Kilway, loses the puck. Collision there in the high slot. Racker toward the net. Racker corrals it. Puck is still loose, and a save by Beck. He comes out of the net to play it himself. Pretty dangerous play there by Nick Beck, but he gets the job done as the puck exits the zone.
I think Nick Beck was getting a little impatient with the slow play in front of him, just wanted to take matters into his own hands.
And this is a bad turnover and a bad change. Racing in is Racker with a quick shot. It's blocked from behind, and a penalty is coming up against Kent State now.
Well, that's not a penalty you want to take at this stage of the game. 1-goal game, you've got the lead. John Carroll has all the momentum, and it's a dangerous power play. It's not an opportunity you want to give up.
Unclear as to who's heading to the box here.
Perhaps nobody.
Official's arm was up.
Having a discussion with the Kent State bench as well, so I'm not really sure what the deal is here.
Don't know if there's a call here.
And it looks like there will be.
Friedman is heading to the box. So a power play will ensue here for John Carroll. It looked unclear.
An important 2 minutes coming up for this Flash's penalty kill.
This is big. This is big. Putnam trying to maneuver his way right to the net and cleared right away by Kyle Holmes. Puck corralled here by Smat.
The call in the arena is too many men on the ice, a bench minor against the Flashes.
There you go. Will be served by Friedman. Beck, got to get back to his net here. Young holding. Center point, lets it go, deflects wide. Miller tied up by Zarecki and held in at the line by JCU. Putnam down low. Low to high, it comes to Wigan at the left point. Point to point Young. Plays catch here with Wigan. Opening up for a one-timer, wanting it is Putnam. He'll give it back to Wigan for a drive. That one is a headhunter that gets the glass, nets off the moorings. And now Richter and Gallo have some choice words.
Bill, as stated before, you know, Gallo likes to be in the middle of everything.
In case you forgot, Joey Gallo, gritty guy.
Yeah, and he's seen a lot of Richter tonight. Feels like Richter's been out for most of the game. A couple of guys for John Carroll feel like they've been out here the whole game.
Faceoff's coming out of the zone. Luckily for the Flashes here.
Still need to win a faceoff.
Still need to win it. I was just about to say that. And they don't. But in a sense they do, as it does go all the way back down.
Statistically, though.
Well, you know. Deep it comes. Nick Beck's got it. Hands it along. And Fogarty, was he able to hold the line? No, he was not. And it is time to be real, just in case you missed it.
Well, another opportunity here to win a faceoff and burn a little time. And once again, they do not.
Boswick controls. It's Deacon, tough angle. Good save by Beck. Way to hold the post. Takes a peek as to whether that net's still on the moorings. It appears that it is. 30 seconds to go on this power play for John Carroll. Beck using his own paddle to knock that one down, but held in at the line there by the Blue Streaks. Back it comes. Fogarty, Deacon. They play catch. Fogarty at the center point. Near the top of the circle, it's cleared down. Kinsman tried to whack it out of the air. Nearly did so. 5 seconds to go on this power play. Pramano. Now Racker. Friedman is free from the box. He's a freed man.
All right, that'll be enough out of you,
That was
Gabe.
a layup. Come on. Back at the point, a shot from Fogarty. Up and off the ceiling.
The low ceilings, of course. Wouldn't want to forget.
That was a brutal stretch from us right there.
Don't rope me into this, Gabe. That was all you.
7:12 to play in the third period. Still only 1 goal to speak of. It belongs to the captain, Zach Zarecki.
And a big kill there from the Flash's penalty kill.
Off the tie-up, Osterschell moving it off the glass. John Carroll tags up. Onside play now. Gabriel trying to move it along, and he does corral it, move it for Osterschell, just out of his reach. Pramano controls. Pramano hauled down on another penalty, and not a good one. Stick infraction, there'll be a trip. Crowd not happy, but I think it's a good call.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that one's not really that disputable. Just 2 not very good penalties to take here from the Flashes. First, a bench minor, which is just, well, that one will make a coach pretty angry pretty quick.
Right, never good to take those.
And the trip is just.
So they got to kill another power play. Young, Wigan, they play catch. Young drifting to the top of the circle, back to the point. Wigan, there's a quick shot from Miller that deflects wide. Under 7 minutes to go. Flash is trying to hang on here. What would be a huge regulation win. Young fires. He had some room upstairs. Beck was screened. Shot just missed. Young again fires. It's in. Tipped in by Max Richter. And we've got a tie game in Kent.
Yeah, redirected in front. Nick Beck was already sliding to his left and just didn't have the ability to stop and get back over in front of that one. And
Really
as we
good.
said, those penalties, you just.
You can't take them, but a really good tip there by Max Richter. Richter adds his 9th of the season. We got a brand new hockey game, folks. Seems like they're always decided by one here. Could we be headed for that again? Kinsman working. McNamara lost it. Picked up here by Fogarty. Tell you what, we've said Fogarty's name quite a bit. I feel like he's barely left the ice. McNamara. Deacon along to Fogarty. 1-1 is the score. McNamara just lost it in front. Here's a puck controlled now by Vent. Left it behind. Almost dangerous there as Kilway didn't quite see the puck dropped off. Carlo Bertoni in behind Smack. Hands it off. Glove down by Herberg. He saw that he was going to take a hit. Take that hit he did. And we've got a whistle and a stoppage.
Yeah, everyone just kind of stopped playing in front of there.
Puck was in the John Carroll bench, so that would be why.
Yeah, door was open when the hit came in, so it was kind of a weird little bouncing moment there. But you mentioned a second ago that it feels like Fogarty's been out there all night. He is the only defenseman in top 5 scoring for JCU with his 19 points. It puts him 3rd on the team.
He's been out there with Carlo Bertoni. He's a really solid defensive guy, graduate student. Only 6 points on the year, but I think that speaks to his ability defensively.
Yeah, I think he's just another one of those workhorse defensemen that just eats minutes all night.
And that's up and into the netting. If you want to talk NHL comparisons, that's, you know, maybe a Spurgeon and Brodeen situation. Jonas Brodeen, analytical darling in terms of defense.
Yeah, coaches love a guy they can just throw out there and just have him eat minutes. I mean, you see it a lot in the playoffs, especially in the NHL. You always want that one guy that can just eat 30 minutes a game.
Tristan Weigand, back in the ACHA world, plays this one along for Firth Grushishinsky. Although it comes back to Creston. Oh, if Gabriel was able to scoop that one up, he would have had a really good chance. 4:45 to go here in regulation. 1-1 is the score. Nick Creston racing ahead with this one. Creston fires, kicked aside. Scoops it up again. Creston shut off by Unra, and then Zarecki delivered a reverse hit. Henry Check dumps it in, heads to the bench. Sent ahead and turned over. Here's Ryan Young. Young twists around Poswick, tries to send one toward the net. Broken up by Osterschell. Baxton. Kyle Baxton races ahead. Cuts inside, Baxton. Couldn't get a shot away toward the net. Puck sent all the way down. Vent, foot race here with Max Richter, the goal scorer for John Carroll. Conway, over for Young on the near side. Putnam, good entry, but a good breakup there by Kyle Vent. Puck corralled there by Mitch Gillespie. Friedman fires, blocker save, and the whistle goes. Puck was still loose.
Yeah, it wasn't even close to being under goaltender control. It bounced off him and flew into the corner. No question.
Goaltender thought he had it, and I think the official might have too, but that puck was very clearly still in play, so.
I guess it's a moment of fake it till you make it. Just pretending like he had the puck and got the whistle.
Guess it'll work out.
What a bizarre little turn of events there.
Yeah, it was. Faceoff will be in the John Carroll end, though, and it's won again by the Blue Streaks as the Flashes try to win possession back here. Down low it comes to Fogarty again. A lot of this game has been played in the neutral zone. And here is McNamara, once again moving through neutral territory. Deacon for McNamara down low. Deacon scoops it up. Back to the point it comes. Faking the one-timer was Fogarty. Across to Bertoni. Loose puck and back. Ooh, dangerous chance there.
The slow rollers are always dangerous.
Always. McNamara with a quick shot. Blocked. Got it off again. Beck made the save and a penalty on Kyle Vent.
Cross-check.
Another bad penalty. You can't take those.
Yeah, Flashes are trying as hard as they can to make this as difficult as they can. And this is going to run, assuming that they don't score here. This power play will run for 2/3 of the remainder of this game.
There's 3:08 to go. It's a 1-1 game. Kent State, aside from those two power plays in the first period, haven't had anything to speak of since. Weigand. Shot. Blocked. Back for Young. Young controls it at the half wall. Over to Weigand at the center point. Young fires. Saved by Beck. He's got it in the paraphernalia.
Yeah, Flashes really, this is the time, if they're going to win some faceoffs here this evening, this is definitely the time to start pulling some out.
This is the time to hunker down right now. Another face-off win for John Carroll. Seems too easy at this point. Miller couldn't corral it. There is Herberg behind the net. Battle for it, just trying to eat up some time. Miller back for Young. Young top of the circle, Weigand lets a shot go and a diving block by Kilway. Here comes Jack Kinsman. He's got Tommy Kilway with him. 2-on-1 short-handed. Kinsman across to Kilway, swing and a miss. Couldn't get anything on it. Putnam races the other way. It's a 3-on-2. Drop pass. Miller blocked by Osterschell again. Kilway, here we go. 3-on-2 for the Flashes. As Osterschell jumps into the rush. Bad pass. And now a 1-on-1 turns into a 2-on-1 as McNamara hops off the bench. Fired shot in the blocker. Saved by Beck. Back and forth we go. And there's a clear.
Well, opening up and going back and forth like this is not what you expect when you're killing a penalty, but I think the Flashes will take it.
Bit of a wild sequence there for sure. Ahead comes Sean Deacon. He's pushed, and Zarecki just slams it all the way down. Smat will move it for Racker. 25 seconds to go on the power play for John Carroll and a minute and a half to go in regulation. 1-1, Racker, Fogarty looking. Across for Deacon. Pass was behind him. Would have had a good look at the top of the circle. Deacon. Fogarty across for Racker. Hands it off. Fogarty with a quick shot. He scores!
And that's why you don't take 3 penalties back to back to back in the third period in the last 9 minutes of the game. An absolute shot to your own foot.
Peyton Fogarty. And the game is turned on its head.
Yeah, Fogarty, who we were just talking about a few minutes ago as well. He eats minutes and he can put points up. It looks like a timeout is going to be called here.
If there ever a time to use it, it's now. 2-1, a minute 14 to go.
Yeah, you've just seen your close game and your small margin of lead just evaporate and U-turn on you. 1-goal lead goes to a 1-goal deficit in your direction. And only a minute 14 to try to figure it out.
Now face-offs become bigger than ever. Have to have the puck to tie this game.
Yeah, you can't waste, 20 plus seconds trying to get the puck back.
John Carroll looks to sweep the season series against the Golden Flashes.
This will create some space in the division as well if this holds up.
And open the door for Mercyhurst. Another face-off win by John Carroll. Racker's got it, fires it down. Back directing traffic. Zarecki got to get the puck here and establish some possession. Have to think Beck will head to the bench as soon as possible here. Kinsman controls. Ostershell snapped along to Kilway. Beck to the bench. Kilway snaps it all the way across to Friedman. Fires in behind. Zach Zarecki behind the net. Chance in front. And all the way down. This will be an icing. 37.8 to go. You got a face-off in the John Carroll end. Must-win face-off, might I add.
Yeah, and the Flashes seemed a little too nonchalant on that breakout. Would have liked to have seen them get a little more aggressive and try to get the puck moving. The clock is not in your favor. You'd think they'd want to get it moving as quickly as possible. Do we have another timeout here?
Looks like John Carroll's going to use their timeout here, yes. Can't discount the performance at all tonight from Nick Beck either.
No, neither goaltender. They've both been very solid. I mean, anything down low, you have no chance on Smat.
Yeah, we've been doing these games for a couple years now, Chris, and it feels like we're a broken record every time we talk about how the play evolves as this goes on. You're going to get solid goaltending. You're going to get a lot of shots. You're going to get physicality.
And lots of penalties generally as well.
Lots of penalties, yeah.
We see all kinds of penalties in all kinds of different scenarios with 5-on-3s, 4-on-3s, 4-on-4s.
Seems to be the formula. Now you got to win a face-off. Friedman, Kinsman, Kilway, Gabriel, Zarecki, and Ostershell out there for the Flashes. 2-1 game. Friedman in the corner. Unruh seals off Zarecki. They got to fight for it to get possession. Gabriel down to one knee to win it, and a good freeze there by Smat.
It was a good play from the Blue Streaks there to get it behind the net and just kill some time. They burned roughly 20 seconds there since the last face-off.
24.3 to go.
If the Blue Streaks win this face-off, they can just cover it behind the net and take this one.
Big face-off for Johnny Gabriel here. Tie-up. Won by John Carroll. Snap down toward the empty net. And wide. It hit the post. Icing. Heart stopping as that puck headed toward the yawning cage.
As close as you can get. And of course, the shot that hits the post is not a shot on goal, so it's still icing.
Yes. Tie up again. Taken right back to the corner by John Carroll. Worked in front, Kilway. Glove save by Smat.
It's another 6 seconds off the clock.
10.3 to go.
Flashes only have maybe 1 or 2 more opportunities here, and that's only if they can win this face-off.
Don't have a left-handed centerman here, so packing the slot area. Puck fought for and loose. Kinsman had it, threw it in front. Friedman toward the slot, and it gets out, and that will do it tonight. John Carroll steals one. 2-1. Emotion overtaking. Flashes really feel they should have had this one. Nick Beck playing an unbelievable game.
Yeah, no fault to Nick Beck. Obviously, you got to feel as though maybe some of the guys in front of him let him down with all of those late game penalties. 3 in a row.
Tough ones to take. 2-1 the final score here from the Kent State Ice Arena. Game winner will go to Peyton Fogarty. John Carroll picks up their 9th and 10th points in the CHMA standings, and the door opens for West Virginia and Mercyhurst. Well, for Chris Hodson, I'm Gabe Kalura saying good night from the Kent State Ice Arena.